What's up guys and welcome to ForceBuy. In this video we'll be looking at Astralis' T side. They have been one of the worst teams on the T side in the past 6 months. Astralis only plays with 2 aggressive players in Config and glaive, and it seems that they might need a third player to play some more active Counter-Strike. The third aggressive player either becomes Farlig and Sipix, and both players aren't used to play that role. The first issue we'll look at is that Astralis sometimes lacks pace. In this play we'll see them go for an A play. They get 3 players on ramp, 1 player in palace, and blameF plays the lurk on the B apps. Then they want to go for jungle and connect a control as they plan for the short. But due to the slow pacing onto the A side, they can't get jungle or connect the control. And because time is running out for them, the play becomes frantic and the players go down one by one. And blameF is left in a situation where he can only save. As we'll see later, this plan doesn't succeed, and we'll look at why that is. They initially go for some map control towards A, while they have Sipix making sure nobody pushes mid, and they have blameF lurking in B apps. And then we see Na'Vi using the space given to get control of mid, so they are ready to react to whatever play comes against them. Astralis throws this smoke into the window, and shortly after they throw the jungle and stair smokes. The plan is to smoke jungle and stairs and force the jungle player to rotate to CT. And as soon as those smokes fade, they will then smoke connector and go for jungle. Here we see Sipix in the entry role. Initially he does fine, he throws a flashbang and then he throws the bench molly to stop any pushes. He then gets into the sandwich position as he waits for the top con smoke and some flashbangs. The initial part of the plan works as they force Electronic to rotate away from jungle and back into the CT. But we will see that the second part of the plan doesn't work, as their flashbangs are not coordinated well enough and Sipix's pathing in his entry role is not good enough. In this clip we see that glaive is ready to flash jungle, and Config in the support position, a role that he isn't good at, starts flashing jungle as well. This flash should have been towards CT to flash them as they push for jungle. We also see that Sipix's pathing is also wrong. He should know that the CT players aren't flashed and he can be shot from CT. Instead you would want Config in this position, as his pathing skills are very good. His pathing here is actually very good, as he can't be seen from CT. Glaive should also apply pressure to CT, but he is not used to playing this lurk role and his timing is off. He attempts to peek once, but it is too late and they have already lost the round. Again, due to their slow pacing, it's impossible for Astralis to salvage this round, and it's easy to sandwich the Astralis players. blameF ends up looking like the biggest beta, but Astralis lost the round by the bad execute. This next example we will look at shows that Astralis are not good at getting map control and using it. The goal is to get 3 players down ramp and 1 player down secret. And then get blameF on the lurk, and then they get blame to shut down ramp behind them. What we will see is that Astralis is too passive in their map control. They don't pressure the CT players and are moving too slow, as they don't benefit from their utility thrown in the mid round. This leads them to having 0 map control, and time becomes an issue and they have to force a play. We'll see that after the early part of the round, Astralis is spread out decently and have some map control. But Astralis have to go back and throw the yard smokes. Config and blameF are the 2 players who don't throw any utility, and they should use their positioning to clear the path for their teammates. Instead we see Config making a late rotation from silo, and we see blameF leaving lobby. Monesi throws this smoke on ramp, and shortly after Astralis smokes yard. As soon as the ramp smoke fades, they should have players ready to push towards ramp. They need this map control to push back the CT players and understand how they play. As they throw the yard smokes, they must expect that G2 will react to this. It is very likely that G2 will concentrate on yard, as that is where the action is happening, and this might give an opportunity of an isolated fight on ramp. Monesi is dragged away from ramp because he has just smoked it, but Astralis players are nowhere to use this gap left behind. What we will see is that with 40 seconds to go, Astralis have claimed no map control. So Astralis have no idea how the defense is looking, and the late play will become very desperate and they will have to be very lucky to win the round. The execute ends up being a very easy to read fake by blameF. He throws a molly and he throws a smoke for gate to try to force a rotation from the secret player or yard player. The fake would probably have a bigger impact if Astralis already had ramp control, as it would force the G2 players to push for information, as they still have no idea whether the hit is going to be A or B. glaive almost catches out Alexi B, but the rotation from Alexi is just too slow, and as soon as glaive is spotted running towards secret and the ramp pushes on, they know that it's going to be a B hit. m0NESY gets a player on the late ramp push, and they get the man advantage. All the Astralis players are running to get to the B side, which makes it easier for the G2 players to know where their positions are. Farlig and Config pushes down to the B side, as Farlig goes down and glaive is there to trade. Config is left to hold single door as they have no information about where the G2 players are coming from, and he can't assist any of his teammates. Astralis can't get into any good post-plant positions, and blameF ends up in a 2v1 situation, and glaive also ends up in a 2v1 situation. glaive doesn't get a single kill. blameF kills Alexi, but at this point it is too late, and Config is left in a 1v3 situation, where his bad positioning makes it impossible for him to clutch the round. The next play we will look at showcases a situation that is seen often, where Astralis' playstyle become way too predictable and static. The plan is to end up at the B bomb site, and they want Config to backstab the B side player and catch the rotation from the A side. This is done by getting the mid control and moving Config into an offensive position. They will then hit the B bomb site with 3 players from cave and 1 guy from ramp. The ramp player is blameF, who they're also trying to set up for the clutch. But as we will see, the play ends up becoming way too static, and it's easy for the enemies to predict where the hit is coming and shut them down before they even reach the site. Astralis go 2 players towards the mid as they try to get the map control, and they move 3 players towards B. They very early get the lane control, and Liquid also play passive in mid, and a simple smoke on Molly, and glaive and Config have no issue taking mid. Elise is pushed back, but Nitro is still in a donut position, but this is a position that Nitro plays often, and it shouldn't come to no surprise for Astralis. Config pushes forward, but he makes a mistake by jumping all the way to the mid entrance. This is heard by Elise, who is playing close, and he can give this information to Nitro, who is the donut player. We also see blameF, who is going to be the ramp player. He's making a lot of noise, so he's making his position very clear for Team Liquid, as Team Liquid still don't know if he's just faking and the real hit is actually A. At the same time, we also see Farlig take damage in Jaguar. This is heard by Shox, who can give the information to the team, which confirms that there are 2 players towards B and 1 player in mid. naf hits Farlig in cave again, and as the time is running out, it is easy for Team Liquid to predict the B hit. At this point, Astralis should consider making a fast shift towards A, but they are so invested into this setup and they have no map control. As soon as naf hits Farlig the second time in cave, the information is given, and we immediately see OC rotate from A, and Nitro pushes mid from donut, as we also see Elise search for Config. Config has some unlucky timing, but is taken down, and Nitro can run all the way to B side, as there's no chance that Astralis can go back and go to the A side. naf keeps on using his utility to hold back the Astralis players, and they don't even make it onto the side. And we also see blameF being shut down on ramp, and the cave players are sandwiched from behind and from the B side. With the time running low, we see Nitro having no issue pushing forward in an aggressive manner, and it is easy to shut down the Astralis push. Astralis have many good ideas on their T side, but their plays mainly rely on Config getting an opener or blameF making a clutch. The impact from these 2 players are way better than their teammates, and if they are shut down, they don't have a third player that can step up. Zipex is not a good entry fragger, and his main role as a lurker is currently taken by blameF. Farlig might be the third player if he is capable of using his AWP in an aggressive way, but we haven't seen that so far. If they don't start improving their T side, then a change is in the horizon. Those were my thoughts on the Astralis T side. Please let me know down below how you see it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.